So we're live right now, like while I'm talking to you.
Party people, I miss you. Y'all been gone for so long. We've been gone for so long.
Absolutely. I forgot how to start the show. To be honest.
Donatella's right there.
I am.
I'm over here. We got a little special guest today.
We do. Who's gonna walk? Wait a minute. Camera's on the side.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead. You know your boys over here. What the ones and twos?
There you go. I'll put my mask on.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
Semantics. Okay. Can we I'll be right back. Can we make sure her mic is good?
You didn't make me drink once. You said no.
Yes. My people, I see you guys coming in, watching the live. We're setting up. We have a lot to talk about. We've been gone how many weeks now? So, you know. Donatella, what's up, man?
Hi, a lot. Hey, Crystal's in the house. Welcome, Crystal. We are blasting everyone. And of course, there's no inside dining. So what you're looking at right now is
we're not in Amarachi Studio.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Put me in jail. Jesus Christ.
I'll put something on your commentary.
Yeah. We're in Amarachi Studio. That's all they need to know.
Yes, we are. So welcome, you guys. I have missed you immensely. You can do that as well. Yes.
Say hello to the fam.
Hi, everyone.
MJ, the
I am
man.
part of the Amarachi family. I'm one of the partners.
Well, you know, that partnership will come in handy at the first of the month with the bills. I should get you. Yes, you got me. Someone needs to be talking for a while.
No, it's all good. You know, I had to check the Facebook feed, make sure, you know, the audio is right, you know, but everything is good. But anyway, welcome everyone to our Saturday special edition of Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn.
Yes.
We are in the middle of an uprising and rising, a COVID pandemic, COVID part 2. It feels like April all over again. They are threatening to shut down the city, shut down everything. They've already shut my lovely restaurant down. So we're waiting for the rest of the city to follow suit, I guess, or maybe they're just lying because they realize how stupid they are for shutting down just restaurants. Like, we're the problem. We are not the problem. Rate of spread is 1.4% in restaurants. We're taking temperatures with contact tracing. We're enforcing the law. Unlike private parties, home gatherings, Costco, Walmart, that people get to do whatever the hell they want to do. We're doing the right thing here in the restaurant.
We absolutely are. I think one of the other really big concerns is that if you're a New York resident and you live in one of the 5 amazing boroughs, you have to be confused as to why I'm in Brooklyn. Inside dining is not allowed. But if I go to Bell Parkway and I head east for about half an hour and I touch down in Long Island, it's okay for me now to eat inside. I mean, it's like it's normal. And so what does that mean? 5 boroughs, we have people, I think the rate now is something like 6.16 I saw this morning in terms of new coronavirus infected individuals. So what happens if people can't get inside? They're just gonna get in their car, get on the Long Island Railroad, get on public transportation, and head out to Long Island to eat. Or, shorter trip, just jump on the bridge and go to Jersey. So for me, I don't see why it would further burden our small business restaurants with the inability to have inside dining. And so now you're outside, right? And outside dining has to stop because of the snow. I think if it's more than 12 inches, it's completely closed. But now it's open. But really, which one of you are going to sit outside right now and have dinner? Do you know anyone?
And we're welcoming our friend here, Miss MJ, who is
I'm not your friend.
One of our compatriots in this whole Amarachi experiment. And wanted to get her perspective. We just had a family of what, 5 or 6. They came by and they walked up and said, "Hey, we would like to dine inside." And unfortunately, and what made it really terrible is they had 2 young babies with them.
Yeah.
And even though we set up the Amarachi igloo outside, for the 2 young babies, they felt that it just was not right for them to have to sit their kids in the cold. And we unfortunately had to turn them away. It's not even turn, we just talk about the laws. We are not allowed to allow people to sit inside no matter circumstances. As of a day ago, they actually wouldn't even allow people to use the bathroom.
I did not realize
until they realize how ridiculous and stupid once again their laws are. That I guess grandma outside she can't use the bathroom. I guess they want her to pee on herself outside.
Who in the restaurant business had sex with Governor Cuomo's wife?
It's Cuomo and De Blasio.
I'm
They're
going to
just
say that
morons.
because he clearly hates someone in the restaurant business. There's 1%, right? Am I correct? 1% that probably.
What are they getting out of this? Like, what is the game
Closing
plan?
down inside dining. I don't quite understand what
Restaurants, 10%. Look, the stats say 10% of only 10% of restaurants that are started even survive. So this is an already difficult, highly difficult business to run and maintain, and to cause us to stop and start, is a big problem. And we've already stopped early in the year. Now you're asking us to do it again after spending thousands of dollars in outdoor and indoor and getting ready, and we're out of money. It's Christmas time. Our staff, what are they going to get paid? How am I going to make a living? What are we supposed to do the next 2 weeks with a snowstorm right outside? You expect me to sit out there like what, animals? Because they don't have homes. You're ruining the entire experience.
I think it's more than just that as well. You have the concern of you close inside dining 2 weeks before Christmas, so you have staff that's being unexpectedly released from their jobs or furloughed for a moment, right? So those people now are struggling. Maybe whatever they plan to buy for their kids for Christmas, they aren't able to at this point. Along with the fact that you have to think about the shedding. I apologize. We are streaming on we're streaming on Instagram Live, Facebook Live, YouTube as well, and trying to give you as much information as we can. And so right now, we're just talking about the fact that inside dining is not allowed in the 5 boroughs, but if you travel to Long Island or over to New Jersey, you can have inside dining. And the struggles that it's putting on small restaurants. So unfortunately, the big rally that they had on Tuesday on the 11th, I wasn't able to attend. And ironically, did either of you see any coverage on the news?
Very little.
Channel 12 news.
It was on Channel 12. Our former president was definitely there showing.
And the guy from Carmine.
Of course,
yeah, he was there
for us, but the media is following the agenda of the state. They're doing what the state wants them to do, which is continue to promote this fear mongering. I mean, Fox did some things on restaurants a little bit. They showed some viral videos about owners, but I don't think we're mounting enough pressure on the government to stop this travesty.
I agree. And I don't know how we should facilitate and organize all the restaurants to kind of rally together to support each other, because there were several restaurants that I really loved that closed during the first quarter of the pandemic. And so now you're talking about we're at year's end, and it's the winter time, so dining out is already, I think, decreased in the winter time because a lot of people just don't like coming out. But now to say you can come out, but you got to sit outside in the middle of a pandemic and flu season is ridiculous.
It is.
I feel like that makes us a little more vulnerable to possibly getting sick just from a regular cold.
I just don't understand the whole. If you don't have a high percentage of people are basically getting this coronavirus, why would you even decide to close inside dining? That makes no sense to me at all. What made him come up with that decision to have people outside, which I feel it would be worse. Like to sit outside.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
People have a higher risk of getting sick being in the cold than being inside.
And people, come on, your food is going to get
The
cold.
numbers just don't support it. The scientific numbers don't. If they said, oh, indoor dining causes 75% of cases, all right, you got me. I'll shut up.
Right.
But the numbers do not support. We're talking 1.4%. 1.4%.
Well, I think the other concerning part that this says is that the 5 boroughs are densely populated, so we're all kind of right on top of each other. Coming inside, you have people within that safe zone, and there's whatever possibly flowing through the air, right? So the idea is if we close the inside dining in New York City and we force everybody to be outside where it's supposed to be a ventilated area, then it's a little bit safer. But to be outside, what is it outside right now?
30 degrees outside.
30 degrees. We don't know if people are already financially challenged. We don't know who has proper warm clothes to sit outside, right? A proper coat. And then you're talking about the heat. And so my question, I think the reason why it's so good to have MJ here, MJ, you represent the service part of inside dining. And without giving away specifics to yourself, can you just kind of educate people as to what are some of the challenges that a possible bartender or host or server is facing with the lack of inside dining?
Well, the first thing is no money. No point. Period. It's the truth. You're not making any money.
Nobody is ordering and tipping on when they come in to pick up. You know, it's just not how it is. You're not tipping whoever's serving you when you're picking up delivery. It's not.
I mean, and I'm not flipping a screen to you like most like some of these coffee shops are doing. Like, hey, this is what you want. Do you want to tip 10%, 18%?
We're not doing that. That's just not what we do.
We're just giving you your receipt. And most people are putting 0 when it comes to tips. So we're not making any money.
And you know that's very different from what used to happen in the springtime when society actually was trying to help us because they were encouraging people to be generous. They were encouraging people to go out and tip and do. Now we get none of that.
People don't know. Even though we're not labeled as essential workers, we really are. We're taking a risk.
Well, I think restaurants are essential workers. I think restaurants because it provides food. I think the service part of the restaurant is not getting the same benefits and acknowledgement as, let's say, an essential worker who's an FDNY, NYPD, or a nurse or a doctor. But it goes without saying, if restaurants weren't open, people like me who prefer not to cook, we would start today. I cook when I want to, but you know, I prefer the atmosphere and the experience of going inside, communicating with people like you, sitting down, having all the waiters and waitresses kind of play up to me, because at the end of the day, the payout is the tip.
And you want to look at eye candy.
Yes, I always eye candy. And where can you find really good eye candy?
You know, this socialization in the winter time is so important. You know, people are out with their families, they're out with their friends, they're out in public. Now you're sending people, you know, mental health. We're talking about mental health, the mental health of the country. People are battling depression, loneliness. This is one of the ways we get through this pandemic. We're just not serving, you know, there's so much deeper than just what these guys took us for. And that's why it's so upsetting, because it's just, we're such a part of people's lives, and they're taking that very important aspect out of it, and people are suffering, people are hurting. You know, like I said, it's stuff. I mean, that family took a cab here, got out in the snow, walked in, and then 2 minutes later had to go back and walk down the block looking for another cab. That's disgusting.
And the thing about it is, when that family of 5 who took a taxi to come in and have something to eat, when they leave, they're not leaving with the impression, oh, Governor Cuomo closed down.
Exactly.
They're leaving with
this fat guy. He would have let us dine in. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't have my stuff snatched from me. You know, I can't have my stuff snatched from me. So,
but you know what's crazy? I'm hearing that the percentage of people contracting corona are more in nail salons than restaurants.
Exactly.
So so that's where the confusion.
Nail salons, you're online at the supermarket. No one calls me. They're not screening nobody at Wegmans.
I don't understand. That's why so
You're online on Wegmans. You're right there with people.
In this industry, that he felt like, I'm going to close everything down.
Well, okay, so I always try to play devil's advocate. My friends don't like it. So I think the reason why they target restaurants is because restaurants, ideally when someone goes to a restaurant, they're lounging, they
don't like black people having a good goddamn time.
Well, it's not just black restaurants. But it's not just black restaurants. It is black, brown, white, it's everybody's restaurant. But I think
let me tell you something, and why they're targeted, there are more black-owned restaurants in urban. This is the urban center. New York City is the urban center of the state. Okay, there's no other place in this state you can't go down, except for New York City, which has the highest concentration of black-owned businesses, black and brown-owned owners. So we're being targeted. The rich, wealthy counterparts, even some of them are not rich. I mean, I'm not even gonna put them out there like that. But I feel like it's so much easier for them to target us. Ain't say a people about Long Island, ain't say a people about Westchester. They ain't doing nothing to them.
Right. So I will agree. I will agree that for me, I think Long Island is being protected. And sometimes I ask myself, okay, is Westchester, Long Island, these areas that typically have a higher, a higher accumulation of salary, more non-black and brown people in those areas, if they're protecting those types of businesses more than ours. But I don't think that New York City is targeting black and brown businesses for closure. I just think that we fall in an area where they consider it's more densely populated, and they figure that if they're closing all of the restaurants in the 5 boroughs, that forces the high-risk people, we're going to use black and brown, that forces the high-risk people to be indoors.
Okay, let me explain what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't have to say I'm targeting, right? For instance, New York State has a loan out, right, for small business. They started it when the pandemic started. But one of the things that disqualifies you is if you owe taxes. So guess what? Black and bad credit. Most black and brown-owned businesses are defaulting in some way or form or fashion. There's a higher concentration. So once again, yes, they're providing aid, But they know the numbers, they know the stats, they know 50, 60, 70% of black and brown companies won't qualify. Why do you sneak that in alone? Why do you put that as one of the criteria? So you don't have to say we're not targeting black people to close down, but you put these policies in place that you know will disqualify us, you know will impact us negatively. And that's the same thing they're doing with this. The servers, the bartenders, highest concentration of us, of MJs. Anywhere in New York, you see black and brown servers throughout Brooklyn, the Bronx, Manhattan. They're sent home.
That's true. I want to take a moment because I see It's From the Soul. It's watching our live now. It's
that's my guy.
Yeah. So, you know, what's interesting, I absolutely love him. By the way, he said he's proud of you. You better be proud of me too. Hello. I have supported you. Yes, and I
Me and Andre go back almost 20 years.
Yeah. And so I can tell. Me too. I love what he's done during the pandemic with handing out sneakers most recently. And if I'm not mistaken, I thought he traveled to support the Black Excellence Dance that was held in Atlanta and passed out sneakers in Atlanta last weekend as well. Yeah, MJ's killing us with her vibe.
I did.
Thank you. But no. So back to what you were saying. So here's what I'd like to address. Right. For me, I know a lot of people in different industries. I'm confused as to if our Governor Cuomo and our Mayor de Blasio really wants to close inside dining. Why haven't they asked the construction companies to step up and someone come up with a boilerplate template of appropriate outside dining and not just giving the schematics, but actually saying, hey, the state is going to take X amount of dollars and we're going to send someone around to help you build a warm, safe, secure place for outside dining to happen to keep your business thriving.
I don't even want that shit. Give me some money. Send me home, all right? Send me home. Y'all talk this COVID nonsense. Y'all want to talk that? Okay, send everybody home. But give us $10,000 a month to go chill at home until it's safe to come out. $10,000 a month. You get that easy to shut businesses down. Give me some money, all right? Pay all my servers. Give them $5,000 each. Let them go chill home.
Well, there is an investment bank yesterday. An investment bank took it upon themselves to pick 9 nursing students from a local hospital and pay all of their student loans off. I can't remember what hospital it is.
Don't pay nothing off. Give me the cash. I know what to do with my cash. Don't pay shit off for me. I'll pay them off when I feel like it.
Erica, do you hear this?
I get it. Hopefully that phone ringing is not going to Cuomo call. Tell us.
I know you would.
I think this is such great dialogue, but again, I digress. I want to go back to MJ. So, MJ, I'm going to ask you a direct question that you may or may not be answering for yourself, but think of yourself as a representation of the industry, right? So, think about this year, the pandemic, right? How much, let's say a ballpark figure, because for people who don't work in the industry, maybe they have no idea. How much money do you think you missed out on this summer? Based on,
let's do weekly.
Let's say weekly. How much money do you think you missed out on during the pandemic because of the opening, the closing, the limitation? About roughly.
Probably 2,200.
So you're saying 2,200 a week, right? And then now, and I don't want to make this personal, so we can just have an overall conversation. So for someone in your position and your role, having inside dining closed 2 weeks before Christmas, did that impact how maybe you were preparing to buy Christmas gifts for people?
Simply because someone like myself, I'm going to make sure all of my December bills are cleared out, right? So you're going to pay on your, your utilities, all that stuff, /mortgage, whatever. And then here comes December 8th, 9th, and they're letting you know like we're shutting down.
Right.
And that's like 2 weeks before Christmas. And all the bartenders here, slash waitresses, slash servers, all have children.
Okay, and that's what I didn't want to give out unless you're comfortable saying.
No, it's
so
true. We all have children here, so everybody's paying their December bill, their rent, their mortgage, their utilities, student loans,
and is your rent? This is the other part that I want to specify to people to think about it. Your rent is still due. Right?
Of course it's still due.
Bills are still due. Rent is still due. Any
But
bills?
the thing, most of us paid our stuff already.
Well,
And we're good
that's
for December.
that's
But we were banking on more money to do what we want to do.
Secret Santa's canceled. We
yeah.
have Secret Santa. We have to
Secret Santa,
cancel.
that's done.
Well, you know what's interesting? I took a short-term rental. I had two roommates, and they didn't want to play Secret Santa. And so for me, I'm like, you know, my money's a little bit funny. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I don't know if I want to buy y'all Christmas gifts. I got my family and friends to think about. You know, I'd like to ask a question to you, Bub, as a business owner, right? Thinking about the impact of the pandemic on a whole, in terms of when inside dining, when you were closed completely, right? And then you open, and the limitations that are set now, has that negatively impacted you in terms of how you staff and how you plan?
Well, it's a disaster because the reality is you have to let people go immediately. Also, whatever you have, whatever, often, you don't stay above drain much in the restaurant business. So whatever kind of lead you built yourself is evaporated because you build up yourself. I mean, as MJ can tell you, when you start up, you're building up clientele. So you're going from maybe doing let's just use ballpark numbers. Let's say you're doing $20,000 a week, and then the goal is in 4 weeks to be at 30,000, and then another 4 weeks to be at 40, and that's how you literally build all the way till you get to December, where you're hoping that by then you're at 150,000 a month. These starts. So now we're in December, the month that we're supposed to be doing the most.
Right.
We get cut right from our wings. And now you built up, your supply chain. So your suppliers are still sending you food. They're still sending you your sodas. They're still sending you your liquor. So now you're like, whoa, I can't handle it. I can't pay. Stop. I'm going to start my Sprite at the store. I can't do this no more. And so everything just collapses on you as you watch all your money go away. I've had friends that ask me, hey, why don't you do a GoFundMe? We just, I'm tired. We're tired of begging. We're tired of, listen, people don't need to make up for where the government fails.
Right.
And the government is failing us. We don't need our friends pitching in. They need to be, they don't need to be worried about that. What we want them to do is support us.
Yeah.
Just to come and do that, but not to just give us money like homeless. We just, it doesn't feel good. We want to work. We want the business. We want the scope, and they're not giving it to us.
So I have another question. I have one of the positive attributes of this pandemic for me is that I kind of rekindled my love affair with your restaurant. And I'm very familiar with some of the philanthropic things that you do throughout the year in terms of providing food to different services, right? And so what I wanted to ask you, this abrupt closing during the Christmas season, has that impacted what you maybe normally would have done for Christmas in terms of maybe providing free meals to different services or receiving orders for food for different Christmas events?
Okay, so one of the things that, as we move into the holiday season, we pick up our Rolodex and start calling um, companies that we've worked with in the past to do things jointly, because a lot of people want to do it. So we call those companies. We're just trying to survive, right? Like I can't even think straight anymore. Like this is such a stressful time. So we don't even have time to plan. We're outside building structures that are almost useless because look, people still came. Nobody still wants to say, black people don't sit in the cold.
Right.
We don't do that.
I was gonna go there.
We actually have a company sitting outside right now.
But they're not black.
But that's not what we do.
They were brown.
One is
Interracial. Shout out to the sister who's having
when you're stressed, you just don't have the mental capacity to really just think of nice, wonderful things to do in the world when you're worried about, are you going to make it into January? So, fortunately for us, some of our friends have reached out and put some plans together, which we're doing to help feed the needy. We're still doing it, but it's not. We're not originating it right now. We're too stressed to really originate anything. If you're not calling us to give us some help, some ideas, and it's really hard to kind of process because, like I said, people are picking up their checks and not knowing the next time they're gonna get one.
So,
and it's very emotional, it's very stressful, and it sucks.
Okay, so I wanted to take a moment to just talk about another caveat, and I'm not sure if this is how it works because I am not a professional, I'm not a lawyer, but for all these restaurants who abruptly had to shut down inside dining and get rid of staff, I'm assuming that those staff now are going to go and apply for unemployment insurances, right, to cover that break. I don't know if people realize this, and I experienced it firsthand, which is how I know. Let's say that you were on unemployment, you were receiving benefits, and your cycle finished. Because there were so many individuals who were scamming during the pandemic, they kind of made a new system in terms of you verifying who you are. You could have just ended your 13-week or 26 weeks. In order to recertify, you have to provide 3 forms of employment, 3 forms of identity, right? So for us, can everybody hear me? Well, can people hear us on Facebook? You can't hear me?
I'm just hearing this.
Oh, okay. Those people over there?
Well, go ahead.
Okay, so sorry, I digress. My point is, I want people to understand that when you abruptly close any business and staff is immediately furloughed, unemployment doesn't start immediately. Like you don't go online and apply for benefits and then that Friday get a paycheck. There's a waiting period of a week.
And even if you do, it's not even compared. For instance, we're talking of people that were making, upwards of what ends up with $2,200 a week.
Right.
You're not getting that from unemployment.
Oh, absolutely not. And you're not getting the pandemic stipend that's $600 or even that extra $300 because it's done. But I also think it's important to say, the guy with the orange hair who didn't win, who won't relinquish his status.
Who won't leave.
He also purposefully did not approve the second stimulus package during his tenure. So whatever's going to happen is not going to happen until January. So my next statement is to say, if you close New York City businesses abruptly, these people are sent home. There was a 30-day extension for evictions, right? So you're talking about people who are already behind their rent. How are they going to pay their rent in January, right? Because now they have no jobs. You have to wait a week for unemployment benefits to kick in, and then file the following, and it's the regular whatever you qualify for.
Well, they did extend the whole rental thing for February of 2021.
Oh, so they did
extend that, and that's all over the internet. Per NYC.gov.
Well, look, there's a lawsuit coming from us restaurateurs to the state because, like I said, this is just it's a travesty. It's irresponsible. You know, they've turned us into beggars. Now I'm clung to my TV, seeing if Congress has approved, you know, pennies on the dollar for what I need to make a living. That wasn't my concern before. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't, but now they turned me into a beggar. You know, and that's disgraceful. You know, we don't work all our lives and do all of this to now become dependent on the government. And these especially this Republican from Wisconsin. But I forgot his name. That jackass. You know, to tell us that $1,200 is too much.
Right.
While he's getting paid $15,000 a week.
Right. And that doesn't include special engagements. So okay, so let's move away from what we're talking about, what they're not doing. As a business owner, right? How can people support your outside dining or lack of inside dining? What would you like to see people do? How can they rally to support New York restaurants?
Quite frankly, order takeout, take it home, tip whoever's serving you, please.
But I want to hear more like, no. I want to hear more suggestions of how can they voice their disappointment in Governor Cuomo and
people aren't talking about. You know, it's so disappointing for me to have friends that absolutely don't understand what we're going through, and they post rubbish on their feeds.
Oh,
you know, about like, you know, we don't need to be open. Of course we need to be open. You know,
we don't. So there are people that are actually saying
there's some people. I don't dine. I would never. I don't go out. I'm not going on it. You know, it's like I said. You know, you ain't no friend at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You ain't been out. You don't know what's really going on. The restaurant is nowhere to be afraid of. Science does not support it. You know, if you want to take one excuse from some lady in South Korea that got sick, one excuse, so now we're down to the 1%. You're afraid of the 1%, but your vaccine, okay, is at 70, is at 90. People are passing out. We want to take that, but we're a problem at 1%.
I'm telling
and
you,
your vaccine is at 90%.
That restaurant industry that has to have pissed him off. That he's going so hard on the restaurant industry. Because you have nail salons, come on, that has a higher percentage of contracting coronavirus, and you're not doing anything about it. You're not even attacking them. You're not even shutting them down. You're not even telling them that it has to be at 25% as you gave up.
Nothing.
Right.
Cool. Let's talk about that as well.
Okay.
So the community needs to mobilize with us and talk about it more, and let these people know it's not okay. It's not okay to fuck up the entire city like this. New York City is absolute trash now. Yeah. There's nothing to do here. There's absolute. Why would anyone even want to live here now?
Well, okay, so let's talk about that. So I'm in the market.
It's trash. The rules here are unlivable.
Right.
No one wants to be here.
The amount of New Yorkers, especially in Manhattan, the amount of New Yorkers that are relocated to Jersey, Pennsylvania, surrounding areas, those that are really struggling going to Atlanta, it is a renter's market. If you're in New York City,
New York City wants you to be dependent on government for everything, and that's bullshit. That's not the freedom that America is all about. New York City wants you to be dependent on government, all their social services, in one service or the other, and it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And these people have to know they're destroying their own city. And you know how ridiculous. I was watching something yesterday about land that the state owns in the city, and they're gonna find the city. Like, you guys are so retarded. Like, you're eating yourselves. You have the city finding the state for property that the state owns in the city, like, make it make sense. And that's the problem with these people. They don't, nothing makes sense anymore.
Nothing.
Okay, now you're ready.
Yeah, nothing makes sense. I'm actually frustrated simply because if I go into a nail salon, which I did this week, and it was packed. It was not at 20.
So let me ask you something. The nail salon that you went to, we won't say any names because we don't want to be sued by anyone.
Right.
Did you at least have any type of?
They took my temperature.
They took your temperature. Did they make you sanitize?
Yeah, there was a sanitizer bottle at the press, and he does tell
Was
us.
there any type of plexiglass in between those pedicure chairs?
There were. But they did not make me fill out any paperwork, and they did not make me ask. They did not ask me those questions that we also have to ask our patrons.
So there's no contact tracing, which means if someone was in that salon and they were positive or tested positive after the fact, there's no way to let you know.
No.
So you know what's so funny? I am fortunate that where I get my nails done, Blake Labs, I can say them. They do all the contact tracing, they take your temperature, they make you fill out a form like we do here.
I bet they do because you go there. You wouldn't allow them to do anything different.
Well, that's but no, it's all about my great girlfriend, and she's awesome. But in terms of restaurants, I know your pain because she has been planning this huge new karaoke restaurant for 5 years. She finally got her liquor license in March of 2020, right before the pandemic hit. Now, you know when the grand opening was? December 22nd. So they closed inside dining just as she's launching. And so it is so insane, but tying it back to the nail salon, I go to her to get my nails done, which they are awesome, always. But they close down the pedicure set, the section, because she wants to protect her patients. So right now, my skinny toes look like fingers, and I'm trying to find a pedicure place to go to. And I walked into a nail salon like 2 weeks ago in Brooklyn, and I was scared as hell because there was no plexiglass. The actual towels that they use, you start to think about things. How often are they sanitized? How often are the utensils sanitized? And if you're closing restaurants, manicures, pedicures, nail salons, we sit there just like we do hair salons and barbershops. And
it's a nail salon. They sprayed the chair when I got up.
Well, that's good because this one that I went to on Broadway, I didn't see them spraying anything. And all I could think is they had to go $1 mask. They probably really right.
$1 mask.
And I left.
No, listen. I mean, like I said, it's just there's too many people that live and have a corporate mentality, making decisions about real world, everyday entrepreneurs. They have no understanding of how this thing works. The economy is going to suffer with us not having income. We can, small business owners need other small business owners, to survive. And this is not working. And we're one of the largest segments of society. This system is doomed. It's doomed. And people that have jobs that are paying them a paycheck and paying them guaranteed money, be thankful. And be thankful that you're in that situation. But don't thumb your nose at us, because you have guaranteed money. We're out here in the streets every day, waking up, asking God to provide for us, and that is being taken away. So have some sensitivity to our life.
I don't understand that. I didn't realize there were people actually saying that inside dining should not be open. I think what happens that I think what has happened this year, some people have taken the pandemic and they realize that the most important things are fundamentally family, friends, and a way to sustain your lifestyle, right? I don't know how anyone could have survived the pandemic in New York City and not understand the struggle for every individual that's here.
Well, I don't know what's worse, someone that's actually been affected personally, or someone that just hibernated in their bedroom and that's just their modus operandi. Me and MJ have suffered personally and directly. And you see, what happens is in these societies, they use fear to control people. And some people have internalized the fear of this whole situation, and it's really affected the way they even are able to rationalize anything. And we that have gone through the actual nightmare and having it and having lost people that had it, you understand it for exactly what it is. And you're able to exist and live and do the things that are necessary for you to function as a human being without being so fearful. But the problem is society continues to put fear down their throat, and they become more and more paranoid and naive about reality.
Right. Okay, so
And that's what we're fighting back, but we don't have a voice because they control the media.
So what reality are you actually speaking to at this point? Because I feel like every day is something else. I feel like every day is something else. You know, you have these people, there's a certain demographic, I feel like, that sits at home, that has nothing to do. They're on social media, and they're waiting for a topic to come out so they can create a meme that goes by, right? So like right now, everybody is focusing on the fact that they don't want to take the vaccine. So you have the nurse that was in Tennessee that fainted, right, after receiving the shot. And I will say that even in corporate, where I've been for like the last, I don't know how long, I remember when flu shots were given, they would tell you to eat properly, come in, don't stand up, make sure you have a cookie or a juice after the flu shot because you could pass out. And we had people who would pass out. But in looking on social media, I see people editing and changing videos to perpetuate that fear that you're actually talking about.
And also, it's also very important, you know, let's stop telling people what they need to do. If you don't want to take the vaccine, that's fine. You don't need to scare people into having the same position you do. If you want to take the vaccine, it makes you feel better. If you think it's going to allow you to live your life, go take the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? But all I do is want you to understand the facts and understand history and understand reality. You know, and it's amazing now. Oh, guess what? We have less cases of the flu now, miraculously. These masks work. Listen, these hospitals, everything you go in there for, they're putting you under for COVID.
Everything.
It's like people ain't as sick with nothing else anymore. It's like the only disease we know now is COVID. That's how ridiculous this whole thing is. And that's what I'm saying. People need to take a step back and understand what's going on. It's just, how real is this? How real is the threat? How real is the threat to you? And how real is the threat to yourself? With all the other conditions you're putting yourself through, the high pressure, the stress, lack of vitamin D, you're not going out, you're not getting any sun, you're not exercising, you're not walking, you're not doing any physical obesity, you know, so you have to be reasonable.
They have to be ready for the mental case issue that's about to rise.
Exactly.
Well, we're not ready. We have never ever been ready when it comes to mental.
But it's going to be at an all-time high. It's going to be at an all-time high.
It is at an all-time high already.
It's going to grow even more. People, I'm going to use myself as an example.
Okay.
I lost 3 people in my immediate family to COVID, right? Sorry, 3 people to COVID. I was lost my father, my cousin, and my uncle.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so with that being said, you come to work, right? And that's your outlet, right? Because if you're just staying at home thinking about these things that you're going through, these things that you're dealing with, losing people, not being able to go out, not being able to socialize, all you're doing is homeschooling. And you have children who don't want to be homeschooled. They want to be.
They're tired of it.
They're tired. They're like straight fatigue.
Yeah. Because kids, remember when you were a child, everybody looked forward to going to school, if not just from a break from your parents.
Right.
You know, you went to school, so we live in a time where I think our children are less functional socially because of smart devices, right? And so now they have the smart devices working as a babysitter. They have the fact that they're not going to school and interacting with other kids and able to hear other kids talk about their parents and fight over who has what for lunch. I remember those days, right? And at a higher level, I watched a celebration today of 5 young Black senior football players who received scholarships to like Cornell and Syracuse, and it never dawned on me. These young men were speaking about how they didn't get to have their senior year playing football, so it made it very much harder, more difficult for recruiting, right? And luckily for each one of them, they had good academia and they had a great junior year. But you're talking about people who didn't go to prom. They didn't have that opportunity to interact with other kids their age. They didn't have that opportunity to grow, do that extra step of growing before they're pushed out into the real world. And these 5 young men were lucky. They got scholarships. Well, I won't say lucky. They worked hard. They got scholarships. They're all going to college. But I watched their celebration on Zoom. You know. And it's so interesting. You think about people who this year would have been their freshman year in college. So they miss the awkwardness of going into orientation, sitting there and having the person say, look to your left, look to your right. One of you is not going to be here next year. All of that interaction.
That's funny.
That was me. For real.
The interesting thing about it too is that when do we get to a point where it's okay for society to return back? Because if the reality is that most likely we're not going to take this virus, and so you flooded the market with the virus, how do you know that we've reached a point where it's now okay to now go to a next camp? It's now okay to go there yet? When does society open back up? Because that's what I'm saying. Unless you make, people are not going to take this thing. A lot of people are not going to take it. So how are you what's going to be the solution?
All right, so for me, right, I found out this week, a friend of mine went to the doctors for a regular illness. And she actually decided to take the COVID test while she was there and learned that she tested positive. I had a 2-hour conversation. I don't even remember what I said to her because mentally I'm like, I'm not from New York. There are only a few people that I consider to be like family and friends. And I was trying to be conscious of how I responded to her because part, I think, of dealing with the virus is also keeping a strong mental. Like your mental wellness kind of sets the pace for how you go through your battle against it. And for me, I was like, holy crap. Because you think about the statistics of how it's impacted Black and brown people, how the majority of those people who passed were men of color, and how I wasn't aware that there still really is no practice or straight, I guess, the doctors are not giving people a way to fight the virus. So what she said to me is they basically said, if you're really sick, we put you in the hospital. If you're not that sick, we send you back home and you monitor it. And so I remember them saying that at the beginning of the year, March and April, because they didn't know how to treat it. So in my head, I'm saying, if we're 9 months in and you don't know how to treat the symptoms, how did you develop a vaccine that I should shoot in my body and wrap around my DNA?
You hit the $1 million question. We don't have they got a vaccine before we have a treatment or a cure. Because no one even, right now, you don't even know what to take. There is they haven't told us.
Yeah.
If you have corona, this is what to do.
Yeah.
They're doing whatever they want to do.
They absolutely are.
But all of a sudden they got a vaccine.
They gave my father. I remember when I got that cold out when he they said that he tested positive. They gave him a medicine called Plaquenil, which is what they give to people who have malaria.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's still the wild west, and I think that they should be as equally concerned with how to treat this thing to those that are affected by it than the vaccine. The vaccine is here, but we need a treatment. Because if someone gets sick, then you go to the hospital, boom, get that, and you good.
No, in 2020, so a friend of mine found out that her roommate, this is in Atlanta, it's crazy, actually she's in Florida. She found out that her roommate had tested positive for COVID, right? So now she went to the doctor, and the doctor told her, okay, you need to bulk up on vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and I think they prescribed, if I remember correctly, something called melatonin.
Melatonin what makes you, that relaxes you to put you to sleep?
No, it wasn't melatonin. It was something else. I have to read my
it has other
benefits.
Yeah, but the point is, again, they really didn't have anything to say to her. So you have to say, if you had X amount of scientists in different countries working on the vaccine, where were the people who are charged with working on a treatment, right? Because right now, I'm telling you, I should be right now in Nigeria, where I went last year. And I was contemplating, I was waiting on 2 pennies, and I was going to jump on a plane. But a friend of mine told me Nigeria, I forget which big person, but some big person in Nigeria tested positive yesterday with COVID. And now all of a sudden, remember Nigeria was saying, not that many people are impacted, we don't have a problem. But now the big guy has contracted COVID. Now all of a sudden he's closing all schools, private and public, right? And so my thing always was with, I think a lot of these countries are not reporting their numbers if it's the poor people who are dying. So America looks like this big, huge, infested place, right?
What is recorded? Listen, we need solutions. It's just like the people that line up to take tests every day that I see. I'm like, what the hell is going on? If I'm not sick, I'm not going in to go stand on a line with people that might be sick, that might give me the disease, or go get stuck by something I don't trust anything anymore. I mean, look at the videos. They got people doing fake vaccinations.
Yeah,
we're living in the twilight zone, y'all. We're living in the twilight zone.
The guy that was receiving the shot.
Yeah, he's playing around with the syringe.
Oh yeah, I heard some people saying they were seeing people get shots with fake syringes.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's true.
Because you have to remember, right? There are people who are using this opportunity to go viral. People are doing things for likes, for comments, for shares.
But there's a global agenda here that's going on that we can't crack the code for. There's something bigger than what we're seeing. This doesn't make sense. It's like vaccine. We don't, and thank God for the internet, which I call the Illuminati, because 20 years ago, when I was in college, we always used to talk about the Illuminati. It's really the internet, the age of information, the fact that we have access. And this thing would have been a lot worse if we didn't have the internet in March and April, and people telling their home remedies or what to do, CMOS, ginger. If we didn't have this,
Facebook was removing it, and so was Instagram.
But I'm just saying, think about a world where that didn't exist,
right?
Where that information wasn't being shared. We probably all would be dead.
Yeah.
Their plan would have worked.
And this
Their plan. This
is
orchestrated.
Yeah, that's so true. Because it was definitely planned to take half of whatever.
They still had it.
So you believe that this vaccination initiative.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, do you remember back in early 2000, late 90s, there was this black-owned bookstore on, not Livingston, Morgan Street. Do you remember that bookstore? It was a Rastafarian man that owned it.
Tell us about it.
Well, so early 2000, late 90s, I used to go in there. I got a book. I'll never forget. It was called something Body Snatcher. Invasion of Body Snatcher.
Oh, yeah. I know that book.
They are talking about what's going on right now.
Those pages are on there.
Yes, this is Erica. So this is a book.
When we upgrade our system and we can start showing them nice slideshows, we gotta work on
We don't need to. So we don't need to upgrade the system. We just need to learn how to do it because we can do it right now. Just to
learn how to do it, goddammit.
It's called Invasion of Body Snatcher. So
I read that.
Me too. So that book is basically talking about what's going on right now. So this was definitely planned. It was definitely man-made. And simple things like zinc can help us.
Yep. I pop them all the time. I feel a little scratchy cold. I probably have caught COVID 16 times. Well, you know what I'm telling you.
Erica, you know, you and I.
We are look. They talking about frontline soldiers. We sit here and take anybody off the street. We sit here and take them. Right in our face every day, 24/7.
It's the truth.
But you know, the only way we're here is zinc, ginger, lime. CMOS is the number one thing.
Orange peel.
Orange and the hair dryer to the nose. All that.
You know what's so interesting? We live in such a scientific world that I had a conversation with a family member, and I was trying to tell the family member, oh, there's a young lady, St. Louis Princess, shout out to you. She is sending CMOS directly from St. Vincent. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to see you some CMOS. And so I'm not seeing the first one. She said to me, I don't want any of that stuff in my house. My doctor gave me exactly what I needed. But I am really, I would have to say, other people are not willing to say it. I am really concerned and almost borderline afraid because I come in here because this is a safe place to be, and I think you guys value your family. And I just want to speak to the point that we're talking about the pandemic. You have to wear a mask, and I'm not wearing a mask. Bub is not wearing a mask, but we literally have.
We're socially distanced.
Yeah, we're socially distanced. There's 4 to 6 feet between us, but we've also been in the pandemic the entire time together. Now MJ is on here live representing the service center who is forced to wear a mask during hours of operation. So to show her solidarity to those working people, she's kept on her mask, but we've been together the entire time as well. So I think you're comfortable with him having your mask off if you wanted to. Absolutely, right. So
now, I just want to bring a point up. You know, they talk about certain things that are compromising our immune system, right? And our breathing, like too much exposure to wearing masks. You know, we need to spend more time and researching. There are a lot of myths out there, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we need to know what's facts, and we need to know what's fiction. And no one's doing this work. You know, there are millions and billions and trillions being spent on absolute garbage, but they can't tell us what we need to do to protect ourselves better. If the mandate is everyone needs to go out and get some sun every day, get your vitamin D up, only wear masks for X amount of hours a day, and find a way, you know, we need to know these things because your immune system being weak is only going to allow you to contract not just this, but the flu, pneumonia, you know, any kind of situation. So, but we're not getting, there's no leadership in helping the public. And I don't know if that's the pharmaceutical industry, making sure that information is suspect or it's not readily available. It's still the Wild Wild West. You know, and because there's so much chaos, they are able to pick and choose what industries they want to shut down, they want to pick on, and they want to throw fear at because they know people will follow. Because people are still scared to death that they're going to die from corona.
Yeah, people are definitely scared. And they feed off of that with every news announcement, with all these lockdowns.
Get on camera, Miss Erica. Tell us about it. No, over here, right there. You know, get on camera. Tell us what's on your mind, Erica. Tell us what's on your mind.
I've only got like 2 minutes.
It's all good. Nice coat, by the way. Did Amarachi pay for that? No. I'm sorry. You broke.
But no, the news media, the government, all these quote-unquote informants of our lives, and the regulatories, the ones who's making us do this, are literally feeding off people's fear. It's the only way to make people do things that they wouldn't normally do.
Absolutely.
From wearing a mask, to stay inside their house for months and days at a time, to literally kind of going to keep you in a cage in all essence, all like other like another way, simply boil it down to we're being kept in a cage for our emergency health needs. When there is so many people, nurses included, doctors included, supporting those going outside, or just literally sitting, if you have fire escape, sit on your fire escape. If you have a park that's wide, go to the park, lay down. But everyone's so afraid to just literally step outside because it's airborne, you go on your clothes, because it'll take whatever amount of hours to finally die if it's not inhaled. It's the amount of fear that people literally have for this is ridiculous, and everyone thinks it's irrational. Once you become irrational, you lose the mental support to actually think clearly and think for yourself individually to actually work for you and what actually benefit you. And no one's using that logic, even to this day, which is why they said that they should not restaurants, no one thinks twice about it, or if it's not their business, that is, obviously. Or it's okay, don't go to school. It's okay if you fail because everyone's gonna die. If you don't,
They told us today they're not grading kids.
Yes, the new grading system is in.
That's why I say, yo, what?
Literally, my daughter's teacher told me there's no grading A to
F.
It's NF, meaning she said NF or negative F means had information and attended class. Not that you obtain information.
Right. So how do they get advanced to the next grade?
Automatic. And that's for young people. I don't know high schoolers. If they have high school, I don't know high school, maybe more strict. But for younger kids, they're automatically
it's a little more strict. That's the reason why she even was able to make it on the honor roll. Because they're grading it. But as far as talking my 8-year-old, please.
Yeah, my daughter's 9.
And one of the things that makes Trump so popular is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
These yahoos, these wackos that love him, have a point to a degree because they feel society is trying to take everything away from them. It's trying to take away their freedoms through fear. The fear mongering, because the minute we stop making sense is when we start having to question everything. And so much is not making sense, and they're just pushing and forcing things down your throat that it makes you.
That he was the cause of the speed, the intent of corona being spread. Do you feel that Trump was the reason? Negligence.
I think it's the same.
Okay.
Here's what I would say. I have like my uncles and my cousins who have this huge conversation about, this is the reason why my brother died, or this is the reason my nephew died, or this is the reason why my other brother died, because.
Okay. Let me try to answer it. To a degree. The concept of the New World Order is a conservative Republican idea, and it is different from Trumpism. It's different from what Donald Trump brought to the table. Quite frankly, the people that orchestrated CPAC and the New World Order don't like Donald Trump, and Donald Trump doesn't like them, because Donald Trump is ultimately, before he got into politics, he was a conspiracy theorist.
He was,
right? So and he's still doing it, you know. He still follows all these crazy ideas, right? And conspiracy theorists is good and bad. It's not like just because you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, but you only follow outlandish, ridiculous things. Some of the things have truth behind it. So the idea where Corona came from, I don't know, but I know it's somewhere in that New World Order, Trump. You know, Trump's problem is that he's an avid racist, and what they want is a new order where they can continue their chokeholds on us, where they can continue white supremacy. That's it. But you see, the New World Order, these CPAC guys, they're just bigger than just race. They want to control wealth. They want to control money. They're about resources. They don't care about color so much, right? It's not about that, and it's about money, you know, and control and running the world, imperialism. So you have those two factions, and because of this, it's very confusing to see or understand where it's coming from. But it's coming from that side, and the Democrats are just too stupid to deal with either one effectively.
And ignorant and stupid.
But it's they're our only defense against them in voting Democratic, just to give us a break from these two crazy factions of the same political party, which is the Republican Party. Both factions they're both crazy, and they both are not good for us. And the half of the Democratic Party is not good for us either. The conservative, middle of the road, Dixiecrats, they're not good for us either. The only people that are fighting for our issues are the progressives, which all three of them hate and are trying to continue to marginalize. You know, so how Trump to me is like, okay, how can I capitalize? That's why he was involved in the vaccine, because he's looking at money. You know, I don't know so much that Trump wants to see. One thing I know about Trump, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like to necessarily kill people. That's why he's not a war hawk. He doesn't really. The concept of death and killing is not really his thing. He doesn't get a hard on killing people, but he gets a hard on for money. But he wants the money.
And that's a fact. That's the one thing that's off.
Exactly. So it's like, you can see it happen with us. Sucks to them, but you know, as long as I'm not the one that ordered it, you know, just like when they killed that journalist. Sucks to be here, you know, my boys in Saudi Arabia did it, but you know, exactly, you know, so that's why I don't think Trump said, okay, I'm going to kill 300 black people, but I can see some races in his heart want to exterminate black people and come up with this thing, and they present it and say, well, this is what's going to happen, and he just kind of, hey, and it helps me win the election because, you know, we're going to kill so many black people and brown people. They were not going to want to vote. I can maintain power.
And Bucky, you're going to be mad at me after I say this. I know you are, because I know you detest Trump. But I honestly feel it's not, I don't think he said this. I want to do this to 300 black people. Nothing he did or didn't. I think he does it to anybody who just don't have that coin. Yeah, that's how I honestly feel.
But he's an avid racist.
No, he finds it avid.
He's an avid racist to people who are poor.
No. Listen. He likes dumb black people to be around. He's never going to have an intelligent, self-respecting black person next to him that's going to call him on his shit. He's never going to do that. But he will have Mike Tyson. He will have, 50 Cent. He'll have all these niggas around him. And then he call a nigga to their face. But as long as they put him down, I give 5% of Trump vodka. Shut the fuck up, okay? And they will be good with it.
He will be okay with the rich
whitewashed black person, and most very rich, wealthy black people are. Let's just so
They'll
people
take it.
hang around them. He'll hang with Russell.
I know that.
He'll hang with certain.
He knows there's a crab in the barrel.
There's
There's
no
a house nigga
culture
mentality.
black
And he
rich man
feeds
hangs
off
around. There's no culture black rich man hangs around. None. None of
Donald
them.
Trump understands. Like I told y'all, white people understand ourselves.
Russell.
Who's Russell? Russell's not a beacon for black men.
Russell Simmons. Remember who Russell Simmons is? Russell Simmons is an adult overage man who went to the parents of a minor to get permission to date her until he could marry her. Russell Simmons is the person who invented the rush card that robbed millions of us. Millions of
At
us.
29.99% interest.
Absolutely. So you have to understand who he is now. Do I know him personally? Absolutely not. Has he made some strides for the black community, black culture? Absolutely. But speaking to what we might call, or what we have called in the show, being black individual who is whitewashed, I don't really say that. But Trump speaks to people who are in a certain tax bracket. And if you are in a certain tax bracket, whether you are white, red, purple, blue, green, or yellow, you benefit from it. But do I believe that late at night when Trump is talking to his kids and he's talking to his grandparents and he's trying to talk to the sister who doesn't talk to him, do I think he's a racist? Absolutely, I do. Because if you are in a position of power and you see brown and black people being wrongfully prosecuted, wrongfully brutalized, and you don't have anything to say, and you understand that the demographic that most supports you financially, and you don't speak out against them, are you racist? Yes. And you have to remember also, Donald Trump right now is preparing to transition back into regular human life. And he's already collected over $200 million through his platform that is not designated for his presidential run. It's just designated for his fund, which means that when he walks out of the White House, he has more than $200 million that he can use to do whatever he wants to do.
Letitia James coming for that cat.
Yeah, Letitia, get him,
Letitia James
Letitia.
coming for that
Get him. And by the way,
His top was as much as he was.
And you know his threats saying that he's going to lose the country. He's going to leave the country. Absolutely, but guess what? You're going to get extradited.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely.
Yes, you are, honey.
Absolutely. Meanwhile,
You know, and that's another point about him. Don't make no mistake. Yes, he is a racist. However, he will not fraternize. You're not gonna find the rednecks in his house. He don't like poor white people. He don't want them around. You know, now he goes to a class system. He only wants elitist white men.
what do you think about what
White supremacy. This is what he's about. He's a supremacist. So the elite in that camp are all that's his fraternal buddies. Those are his people. But he's not hanging these guys, the rednecks that go into Mass Lux and Walmart. He thinks they're absolute losers. You know, we know that. You know, and it's not like he thinks. You know, his thing with black people is just listen. It's just like Hitler. It's like you know, they're better than me. Like, you know, so I just don't want to like them.
Well,
I just don't want to like them. They're faster, they're stronger than I just don't. They're a different race. You know, I don't want to like them. And then when our brothers are doing the whole trap and the drug and all that, that now really charges them and fuels their hatred for us. Because now we get to fit all the nasty names and ignorant.
Confirm all the stereotypes.
We start checking the boxes for them.
Yes.
And they love that.
They do.
And they love it more because these people don't care that they're checking the boxes.
I know.
So they could literally invite them. You see them, they invite these people to their rallies. Yeah, come perform for us. Come over, nigga. Come sing that song. You know, that's what they do.
Jeez. It is, I would have to say at this point, it is really concerning we're now, what's today, December 20th, right? We're 5 days Christmas. For me, I try very hard to have holiday spirit, but it's very difficult to be in the thankful mind, season giving, when I see so many people that I care about struggling financially to either hold up their businesses, support their families, fight the coronavirus, and then prepare for a new year. This time last year, how many things were going viral with it? 2020 is going to be my year. You don't see that this year. People do not overall have the confidence in the new year to bring the hope that you usually count on. I mean, this time last year, there were 1 million people pledging to be fit in the new year, right?
This is the year of vision.
Last year, 2020,
it's still the year of vision.
2020 was the year of vision. It's still what it was.
What is it? Okay, I want to go back to that. Go ahead.
No, for me, the year of vision, it actually opened your life. It opened my eyes to a false sense of security that I had in the fact that tomorrow is promised to be both emotionally, physically, economically, and just the fact that I could rely on talking to friends and family. We lost friends and family this year at such a fast rate that it had to make you question your mortality. At least it did for me, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it also made me appreciate those who took the time to reach out and check on me, because that's what people learn. I get greater appreciation of my professionalism with technology, because all these people who never been on Zoom before, but now on Zoom, and I've been using it all my life. So yes, it was a year for vision. The problem is that the picture that it cleared for a lot of us is not the picture that we anticipate.
Okay, I look at it as, okay, well, the reason why I bring it up, I want us to really, as a people, I want us to really, my prayer, and I'm a traditionalist, but I'm not to a point. My prayer is that we become less reliant on magic, on prayer, on things that don't involve us actually doing the work to achieve. We have become a people too reliant on magical things to happen, on miracles to happen. We're the only people. Do you realize that we're the only people that talk about miracles?
Really? I thought
When was
Spanish.
the last time you heard a Korean talk about a miracle? No, they made that clear from bullshit to now top of the line. They worked at it. I need us as a people to stop caving in to the difficulties of life and just throwing our hands up and going to the corner and saying a prayer. I need us to start figuring shit out.
But you're saying prayer is not enough?
On religion, it's not
Well, I
enough.
don't deal with prayer.
I don't even want to talk about spirituality. I want to talk of rational, common sense thought and problem solving, coming up with solutions to our problems. We're not doing that. We're leaving it to other people to continue to dictate our future to us. And we're leaving it up to a God to determine what's going to happen. And making us impotent.
In that sense. Yeah.
Impotent.
Yeah.
And we got to get away from that. You know, we're obsessed with religion. We're obsessed in every form, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christianist, whether you're Christian. We are too obsessed, whether you're Muslim, 5 times a day praying while everybody's running past you. You're in the corner praying. What the hell?
Well, and that's their belief, though.
Yeah, we're respectfully.
It's destabilizing us. It's too much. It controls us too much. People sit there and not work because they want to be religious. Oh, it's against my religion to work on a certain day. It happens.
That's the keeping the Sabbath.
Yeah, no. Some people have a Sabbath on a Saturday and just go to church.
People literally, they live in a fantasy world. These stories don't compute in 2020. These fables, these tales don't work. They don't work. And God on the sixth day, God, it's bullshit, guys.
I'm gonna go on record as saying I don't agree with that, but I hear you.
What? Prove me wrong.
I can't.
Prove me wrong. Cain and Abel was sitting there, but they had wine. Where do wine come from? Where they had children? Where? They had sex with their mother?
Oh my God.
Make it make sense.
I can't. I can't.
That's what I'm saying. We have to stop. We have to take it with a grain of salt and stop allowing our lives to be so impotent and believing in stuff that don't make sense. That's why we're so gullible. That's why they run games on us all day long. Fear. They've been using fear to control black people for 500 years. And it started with the concept of heaven and hell. And it's the same thing with your corona.
But you can't say the same thing with corona because corona is real though. And you among other people know it's real.
But if it was made,
it's still real.
This is what I'm saying. Someone made something to create this level of hysteria.
Right. But
just like 9/11, those planes hitting and all the people dying, and then the whole world. We're not fighting wars all over the world.
Whether it's man-made or not, the importance is people have to. It is a fear.
Why Al-Qaeda? Ever since Corona done knocked Al-Qaeda out. Done knocked ISIS away. You see how gullible we are?
Well, I admit that.
He made a point.
I know. I admit that.
Everything they sell us, we take it, we eat it, like goons. We gotta stop it. Believe in yourself. Believe in what's in you. We gotta stop this. It's too much. People, we can't figure stuff out. We start going into faith. I'm sick of it.
Well, okay. So just know that I'm a Christian and I'm not arguing religion.
You say you're a Christian?
I absolutely am. That's why I'm so nice to people even when they are assholes.
You are not nice. Please. I'm in that mode. I'm not calling everybody out now. I'm gonna bring my guns out and start shooting. You are not nice. So stop it right there.
There is a difference in being aggressive and assertive. As my beautiful friend Erica walks across my camera to deliver MJ.
Let's start. I'm cashing checks. Whatever you say will be held against you.
I am the nicest person going
in your mind.
No, but what I don't believe in, you have this undying love affair with treating everybody with kindness, which I think you should. But there is, I'm from a single parent home. I'm from the South.
So who's more Christian? Is that what they teach you in the Bible?
Christianity is being able to literally turn your cheek and still continue. I can't. But I'm going to give you a stern talking to.
Oh, I don't give stern. She says I don't give.
No, you don't really. You don't really.
And she says I don't give a stern.
No, you don't give a stern. You don't give a stern.
Can you explain to her who I am?
He gives a stern talking to, but he allows people to repeatedly commit the same erroneous acts without disciplining them. You can't treat everybody like they're your family when you know that they don't have your best interest. And Christianity teaches you forgive people and you still continue, but you can put a little bass in your voice when you talk to them.
I think he.
MJ, can you please educate this lady?
I'm kind.
No, I think
I'm married.
He doesn't put bass on his voice. Does he give people chances?
Yeah.
But then, I can only see that with one person. I don't see them more than one person.
No, they eventually disappear.
Seriously.
You think they disappear when you let my who's the Nazi dragon?
No,
You let people, you tell people like it is. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
No, not really. No, it doesn't. That's 100 years down the line.
What?
One of the biggest issues that everybody knows is that the management style, I think, is great, right?
We're going on tangent, but let's go, y'all. This is what makes it interesting. Keep going.
I'm just saying.
Keep going.
Management style, there are two things your establishment is known for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great customer service efforts and beautiful people, right? And it's a family situation. But even in your family, when you have that auntie or that cousin or that brother or sister who misbehaves, you pull them aside and you talk to them like a single black mother. And that's what I do. I'm not unkind where I talk to people and I tell them things that is harmful for them. Right? But if you know, you can't sit there and say to people the devil is a liar and the devil's looking you dead in the face lying. I mean, at some point you gotta let them know. And that's my only thing. Right? I think it's great. Meanwhile, Barbara on this prize, I have to say,
Between that drink that I made,
yeah, I'm good. I can take it out of my potty break. I'm not been for a week.
What I'm saying is that listen, right? Just because you're a religious person doesn't make you one way or another.
Absolutely.
Right? We as humans have a moral consciousness. We know good from bad. We know bad from good. And what I'm saying is let's operate more in that than ethereal things that we cannot quantify, we cannot prove, and really are used to inspire, most times falsely, and create false sense of hope and false sense of reality. And we become trapped to those things. That's why the church is so popular, because it teaches them this gospel of prosperity, of hope, of things that you and it's not, and of course, and it has no connection to reality. Just by God, give me money. He's not just going to open up the heavens and throw money down on your head.
You're not supposed to pray to God for money.
No, what are you saying? You see, now you're trying to say what they're not saying, but they say it.
But say anything when you all are praying to whoever it is you are praying to.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this in regards to all of them. I'm not even putting one over the other.
okay.
I'm saying this to all of them. That we have to become more realistic. Let's stop searching for miracles. Let's stop it.
I think, okay, so then.
Let's try to come up with real solutions for our problem. Look at the whole continent of Africa. They have no plan. They have no plan. They rather just pray. That's not going to solve anything. China's going to come in there while they pray.
Well, China's buying up America also.
Yeah, America likes to pray too.
Yeah, that's black people for you.
But it's not just black people. What is the black people pray?
And while you like the brother said, while we closing our eyes, they're robbing us. While our eyes are closed in prayer, they're robbing us.
Yeah, but so are some of the evangelists or some of the pastors. I get it.
And I'm not going to put it on them. They only are able to do that because they have sheep.
Yeah, but that's
Because you allow them to do it.
But that's everything.
It's like somebody walking and say, I'm gonna give you 10% of my money every week. Well, I'm gonna do everything I need to do to make that 10% work.
But that's the
Same
same
thing
thing
it
in
is,
it.
based off of fear, just like why we
Exactly.
of fear. So
I'm gonna tell you need to continue to do it, or you're not gonna enter the kingdom of heaven.
You can be blessed. If not, you may not be blessed.
Absolutely.
You know, that's
Oh, Jesus, where's my dad?
They believe this
And you believe
shit.
in that, right? You believe in tithing every Sunday, right?
I do.
So what if I said don't do it?
Do I do it? No.
So I'm just saying, what if
Have I talked to my grandmother who went to church before she passed? My grandmother got an award for 61 years of service before she passed at 91.
61 years of tithing.
Yeah,
And
you know how much money, generational wealth?
All you atheists,
and don't touch it. See what happened.
it doesn't matter. You guys have your belief, which is fine. I'm not.
Reverend Ike now.
I never praised the Reverend Ike.
So you buy his gold Rolls Royce.
Oh,
That's the new one.
He's
But
not
think about it.
I
You took
like
10% of your weekly earnings and saved it.
And you still do. That's what a 401k is for. That's what a cash reserve account.
No, just put it.
And I do my 20%.
Put it under your pillow.
And then you let these little homie guys who are running up people's homes, killing 94 and 95-year-olds in Brooklyn, stealing every dime they have. No, there's an example. No, I'm saying you said an example of taking your money and putting it under the pillow. And I said what happens is that 94 and 95-year-old Flatbush Avenue, who had a home invasion where they got ran
No,
over
it's bank account. Your bank account is automatic.
Not literally.
You put it under you name the bank account type.
You still
My type, my personal type.
It's up to you. I am not. Oh my God, you see this. Somebody rescue me from all these atheists.
My God wants me to put this 10% away to help his people.
You can still do that. I donate to charity. I save money. I give to church. I send money. Well, before these last 2 years, I send money to my aunts and uncles. It wasn't until a couple years ago that I realized that my designating $50 every 2 weeks to my aunts and my grandparents, I couldn't deduct it really on my taxes. It's considered a gift up until a certain amount. But there is a way to do all of those things, and everybody needs to believe in something. And those people who believe in
that's the whole point.
Something. You believe in something. You believe in something, so your something is yourself. Right? Everybody needs to believe in something.
But why do we need to?
Because everybody needs a sense of hope. No matter what it is it hope in yourself? Is it hope in your manager? Is it hope in the church? Is it hope in the business? Even those KKK people, they believe in something. It just so happens that what they believe in, ooh, that steak looks good, as I am distracted. But everybody needs to believe in something. You just have to decide what it is. And I don't believe in attacking anyone's religion, and I don't feel attacked at all either. But the point of the matter is,
okay.
You know, if you believe in nothing, then to me, if you believe in nothing and you consider yourself the same level as everyone else, to me, you will be like these people who have no regard for humanity, who are walking around in the world taking what they want. It's your car, it's your purse, it's your life, it's your property. I'm not talking. I don't discuss religion. I'm talking about belief on a more simple level. Some people's belief is their religion, but people who have no godliness, have no beliefs, have no standard, have no anything. Those are the people who are walking around on the streets, and as they see you, they want something, they take it.
I have news for you.
Those people don't.
Most atheists are some of the best people you've ever met.
I lie that. I'm telling you, the atheists I know are scummy here.
They are the nicest, wonderful people you've ever met.
Unless you're an atheist,
let me tell you why. Let me tell you what religion does. Religion, right? Religion does this to you. Sin. And then you get to repent. And then you get to wash away that sin.
But that's a person.
So
no, not really. So a person.
What do you mean not really?
No, a person. That's like you waking up in the morning and excuse me because I'm above around for trial, but they are good. That's the person who gets up in the morning and says, you know what? I know that on Sunday or on Saturday I can ask for forgiveness. I can go to confession. So let me go out and rob this bank, murder this person, and then tomorrow. No, and those people don't really have religion and don't really have belief. They don't really believe in anything. Yeah, and that's all I have. That is all I have is my opinion. Just like everything you're saying is your opinion.
They go to their church 3 times a week. They have a relationship with their priest.
Yeah.
We're talking about most my people in New York City.
And again, those people.
Right? So you brought it up to their face. They're not real.
I didn't say real. I said they're not really.
You said what they're doing is not real.
They're waking up in the morning with the belief I can murder, steal, kill, pillage.
They with the Jews. They have a thing called the Day of Atonement. And it does, and all the shit they did all year long on this one day, they get to piss it off.
Yeah. But
Religion is stupid.
And that's your opinion. That's fine. You're
It's
entitled
dumb.
to. It's entitled to.
Because it allows people to do it allows people to be evil all the time with the hope that they can just burn some incense,
What it tells you
say
was
that Hail Mary, and the shit is rocked away.
I'm in the Catholic school. I get it. But that's no different than
It's called penance.
penance. Yeah, I went to Catholic school when I was a kid. I said a few Hail Marys. I stood in the playground. Yeah, I went to Episcopal, Presbyterian, Catholic, public.
I went to Catholic school.
Yeah,
And I did.
I got my knuckles
I
wrapped.
had to learn the 10 commandments. I did confirmation. I did penance. I did communion. All of that.
Such a big waste of time.
You're not paying attention.
As my mother rolls in her grave.
You just get those hours of your life back,
My mother rolls in her grave.
I like my life experience.
you know?
The only hours of my life that I would like back is in that last 6 years this school has been stalking me. That's about it. That's about it. But I think that
I think it'd be dangerous to dismantle humanity's belief. I think it'd be dangerous to dismantle humanity's belief. You should believe whatever you like to believe. It just will become a little testy and trivial if we start to analyze why we believe in something. Is it based on fear or is it based off of love? If it's analyzed, then you can be able to
But it doesn't matter.
outside.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day to be. Okay, there are people who live here. No, it doesn't matter. Because guess what? It doesn't matter to me. Because you know why I don't commit crimes? My fear of going to jail and having some big bad girl named Bertha hitting me with a broomstick.
Really?
Yeah, I don't commit crimes because I'm afraid to go to jail. That's a form of fear.
There's a problem.
Yes, but that would be a problem because if there was no jail, would you go steal?
Maybe.
Is there your own moral compass?
Maybe.
That's what we're
all you guys do is
I
They're not valid.
love my life, and I don't want to go to jail.
I love another human being and I wouldn't want to do that to someone.
Not because I'm scared.
That's how we build society. That's how society is rotten.
And that's what you
That's why you guys can embezzle. They say they go to church every Sunday.
I don't
And then
embezzle.
they're hoarding and give money.
I made it
Amen. God has the most
They say, oh, Pastor Michael.
God has the most
And they steal the money. They're hoarding money.
I thought it was right. So you know the hood got a church.
Every block of the church.
No, I actually thought it was related based on square footage.
Maybe based on square footage, but I know for a fact every block in Ghana has the most.
With some of the church, we have a church. We have a church.
The most in the city, in a city ratio.
Meanwhile, we still allow our stuff like that. One of the things I was telling the kids is not to.
Eat with your mouth full?
No, I learned that at etiquette school. I went to all this things. But no, to discuss religion, because things that people are most passionate about is where you
I'm not saying. You know why? Because you have to get people out of it. If they don't get out of it, we are doomed. Everyone is walking past us. Everyone is running past us. Now we're still stuck somewhere we were in 1776, singing the Amazing Grace. It ain't working.
But I know what is working. These chicken wings that you need to order and come and sit outside in the cold, like Governor Cuomo says. We have eaters, we have a nice house. I would. You need to come out and see us. The camera's still on me. You're not even operating the camera.
It ain't been on me one time. The whole time I've been busting that steak down.
I miss eating steak.
When did you stop eating?
Probably 2 years
You don't
ago.
tell me it's against your religion.
It's not.
No, she doesn't eat red meat.
I just don't want to eat red meat anymore because first of all, I take too long to digest food. I'm one of those people that food just sits on me. Sits.
Everybody, well, that's a lot. I was gonna say your body process is the same, but
No,
it doesn't. That's
My
a
last
lot.
question.
Okay, this is gonna be.
Are you afraid of hell?
Yes.
Do you think you will make it into hell?
No.
So you think you're going to heaven?
Absolutely.
Well, what percentage?
90.
Are you afraid of hell?
Yes, I am.
How can you be afraid of hell if you don't believe God?
I never said I believe.
Oh, see, that's
calling
my
us
interpretation.
atheists.
Yeah,
You
that's
the
my
one.
interpretation. You tell
You
me.
don't want calling us
When you
atheists. You
get
know what
your-
says we never believe in God.
So,
I said we need to be
But
less
that's-
reliant on
I believe in God.
things we cannot prove. And let's get to solving our problems, thinking, problem solving, coming up with solutions rather than leaving it to God. We love saying, oh, just leave it to God.
Oh my
And we don't have to
God.
think, we don't have to solve it. God will solve it for us.
well, I don't know about that. I wasn't taught that.
No one said no one, I never said what.
I know you believe in God. I don't know what variation or.
I just said we need to chill out. Because everybody's overdoing it. Everybody. Not just one group, everybody.
I don't know. I definitely believe in God. I believe in the universe. I believe my ancestors are the force behind me. I believe they're the ones that are protecting me and my kids. I believe when they feel like it's time for certain people in my life to go.
Well, I look at your stories on IG. I know like that astrological person. You and this young lady over here. Y'all share that.
That's the reason why me and her match get well.
Yeah, because we both believe in God. We just don't believe that religion is.
I don't believe religion.
Or to her, or to it. You know, that's all. Religion is a great avenue and a great gateway, but it's not the only avenue to.
It's not the be all and all.
It is not.
And I don't know what we think God is and not what it is.
I honestly don't believe that as well. It's not what we've been told it is at all. It's not a he. It's not a she. It's not just the stars move. It's everything encompassing.
Why is the camera only showing me stuff in my face? This young lady is drinking French fries, licking a steak. I'm the only person licking my finger on camera. And
Your stalker's enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Lick your finger, girl.
Lick that finger one more time.
Another round of questions. MJ,
Yes.
what's your
Put the camera on.
advice for people that are not working right now and getting through this holiday season?
Reinvent yourself. That's what I'm about to do. Even though I still work for you, but I'm going to reinvent myself.
You've already reinvented yourself.
I'm always reinventing myself. That's just my personality. But definitely reinvent yourself. Also invest in yourself. If you're going to collect unemployment, take that money. Go take some classes. Go take a real estate class.
If you collect
Don't take
unemployment,
the church though.
no wait.
No.
If you're on unemployment, classes are free. Wait, stop for a second. The question is yes for this remote. But if you're collecting unemployment, you can get a degree and certifications for free through unemployment. You can attend Ivy League schools through unemployment. You can get certifications through Microsoft, Cisco, all of that through
There
unemployment.
you go, people.
That's
learn something new.
People should have been doing that already.
Thank you.
Don't rely
I didn't do it this last shutdown.
You have been doing it. No, you have been doing it consistently. Both of you have, because I watched you. Every day that you get up and you go out and you set a foot forward, you are reinventing who you were prior to the pandemic.
I get it, but I also want to build multiple streams for myself. So to get back to you, Bubby, you have to build multiple streams for yourself. So when stuff like this happens, you're like, oh shit, I got this to doing. Oh, I could go through some auditions. Oh, I can go try to rent an apartment at a cheaper rate to someone. There's many ways to still make money out there.
You need residual income.
I'm getting it out here.
Anatella, what's your advice to us jobless people, soon to be homeless people that Governor Cuomo and Mayor de Blasio are punishing?
So after I lick my fingers, my hands, I would say most honestly that I think this year has taught me a lot of things. You have to have book smarts, you have to have street smarts, and you have to have a certain level of financial education in order to set yourself apart from other people or be able to sustain some type of lifestyle. So for me, my problem with social media, I see a lot of people kind of, in my opinion, down talking people who have blue collar or white collar jobs. Like all of a sudden, everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Well, if everybody's an entrepreneur, who's going to be a consumer, right? There's nothing wrong with having a union job. There's nothing wrong with you being that person who likes to climb the corporate ladder. But what you should do, I think my number one word for 2020 is pivot. Everybody has to learn how to take their lifestyle and pivot it, adjust to make it work for you. So if that's continuing education, if that's taking online learning, if that's volunteering, if that is finding yourself within yourself or your religion, whatever that is, you should do that. And one of the things you can do is reach out to my 100 Girl, and those are my expertise, and I can help you get some research. But, you know, I think I have been wanting to do a lot of things for years, but because I was in corporate America, I could not, or at least I felt like I could not, because when you work for someone else, you always have to think about what you're projecting in society as it relates to your full-time place of employment. And so participating in Zooms about the pandemic, doing this radio talk show, it really has kind of given me the confidence, and leading corporate America, to say, you know, F it. How many summers do I have left on this planet? And if you think about it like that, it really gives you a greater appreciation for your time that you have left with family and friends. So I would say to everybody, you know, as you move into the new year, kind of take stock of everything that you've been through this year. Focus on your mental wellness, because you are going to need it as you transition from this life under Trump under this new life under Biden. And I'm not saying that Biden is the answer to everything, but it is a starting place.
2020, right? Is going to be recovery.
Well, it's recovery. But for a lot of people are still stagnated in that one position. Like right now, you have an entire industry that does not know what tomorrow holds for them. You have businesses trying to hold on to their business. You have some businesses who thought, oh my goodness, I'm just starting to see a little positivity. And then the other thing is, we're destined for it really to get worse in January, because you have people still having small family gatherings, underground clubs, people traveling,
underground clubs.
Yeah, all of that stuff. And you know, and for a little while, I was kind of participating in some of those parties, and then I thought about it. Do I want to party now in 2020, or do I want to party in 2023, 2024? So January and February is really going to be us accounting for our behavior that we had during this Christmas season. And that's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, thank you guys for a wonderful Saturday night experience. Talking our stuff, almost 2 hours worth. You know, just to add to what you said, there is a schism with people that are self-employed and people that work corporate. And I don't know how we truly address it, but I think we need to have understanding for both sides, because, you know, one thing about corporate life is, you know, in times like this, it's good to have you know, a global company that can afford to pay you to stay home, and cover your insurance for you and your family. But, you know, at the same time, you cannot complain that there are not enough Black-owned businesses, mega Black businesses, if we don't go into business. So are we resigned to just being a part of this white supremacist system and just living off of it and accepting our place in it? Or do we challenge that place for freedom and trying to become that mega Black company that can employ its own people, that can give its own people the benefit of the doubt? Because a lot of these jobs, we don't get the benefit of the doubt. A lot of these jobs we have to interview for 2, 3, 4 times. It's almost like the last resort for us to get those jobs. Where in our establishment, you get to talk and meet with me, and we have more power and control over not just ourselves, but our community, how we shape our community, because we're able to hire and enrich and empower ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So corporate side needs to understand that's what the young entrepreneur is trying to do. That young entrepreneur has a desire for freedom, has a desire to destroy white supremacy, has a desire to break out from the system. And they should be supportive of each other and learn how to use each other for leverage. But that only makes sense if we had a goal as a people. And still to today, we don't have a goal. We have no agenda. So it's just pockets here, pockets here, pockets here. Everybody's doing their own thing. And so my prayer is that we come up with a goal for our people. Because what we are doing, we're gone.
I just wanted to touch on something you said earlier that it just came back to me that I wanted to touch on, but I didn't get to. You said we need to stop looking for miracles. Looking for miracles, Bubby, I feel like is a sign of hope. It's a sign of wanting something to happen. Thank you. That's what it is, looking for a miracle. We all looking for miracles every day. I look for a miracle that my father would have made it. I know you look for a miracle for Brother John to make it. It's part of us. We're always going to be looking for miracles. Yeah. I know you're saying that's not the solution, which is very true.
But here's no, it's not just that, but once again, the miracle is having a black hospital, having a black doctor, having a black nurse that would have put Brother Joe on the phone, so he could have those minutes with us. When we're not in those positions, we can't make miracles.
But there are some black doctors and there's some black nurses.
We need more. That's why your son, my son, you get on them, go through school.
Yeah.
You know how many black men are not developing?
Right.
That are just hanging out?
And now they
what future are we setting up?
Yeah. Because scamming is the new wave now.
I mean, we're talking adults that have no plan. These kids just want to figure out how to make money today. They're gonna get caught. They're gonna get in jail. They don't care.
They don't.
It's about today. We have no plan. That's why I said, as a people, we are gone. We are beyond young. And that's why I said all these systems that we have been using don't work. It's time to throw away the whole system and start again with an objective. We don't have an objective. But the one thing that is true in all of this is that we're in a position by design. They wanted us to be in this position. And they managed to put us in this position. And we've allowed ourselves to stay in this position.
Do you think there was any way to prevent this? There was no way to prevent this, Bubby.
Well, like I said, this thing right here, this Illuminati, this information, the age of information, we're living in it now. We have to accept it.
Yeah.
We can no longer reject truth. And this is what our parents did. We reject, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yep.
The information is out there. Don't reduce your intelligence. Don't reduce yourself to the mind of a 3-year-old. Because it's easier.
I don't want to hear it. No. Yep.
Accept the information. Accept so we can do something about this.
Yes, too.
It's too outrageous.
It's
too outrageous to accept the same narrative that we've been fed for 400 years.
Trust me, I know. I live with it. Absolutely. My parents felt the white is the right way.
Absolutely.
And I know that's why your lawyers want this. I know you're going to be this, but it's the truth. They felt it. That's why they put me in a Roman Catholic school. that an old
They
white girl in Catholic
accepted,
school.
and that's what I said, they accepted this role. They accepted being at the bottom. They accepted that we are inferior. We are not, we know we match up. We know we match up to anybody in this world. Nobody's going to tell you that you're inferior to no way.
It's true. It's the damn truth.
And I have a closing statement for your for entrepreneurial / 9-to-5 mindset. I personally feel that I actually had this conversation with my father. I personally feel that what people are seeing, kind of back off of what Donna Tella said, which she's seeing a lot of people coming out saying everyone needs to be entrepreneurs. This is the only way to be successful. You have to stop working for people. I agree with the statement that not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur, and I do also agree with the statement that people rather not deal with those external and intricate things necessary to be an entrepreneur, and they'd rather just be the receptionist or the bookkeeper, etc. Everyone has a place in this world, and I think those entrepreneurs are coming out now, vocalizing that is telling 80% of us who were told get a 9-to-5 because of security, get a 9-to-5 because you do get the benefits and the insurance, etc., that you don't have to do that to be successful. You can get your own and get it better if necessary. And I think that gives a lot of those people who are stuck, quote unquote, stuck in a 9-to-5, saying it's the only way I can feed my family because everyone gets great insurance and I can make sure I will have something when I retire. It gives them a hope to let you know that you can actually have that by yourself or more. And that just brings us all and it employs everyone and calls everyone to show up into their lives and ask them, where do you want to be in society? What are you willing to do for yourself and your family? And where do you literally line up? And if it's still the 9-to-5, great. But most of us will come to find out it's our own businesses. It's even just multiple streams. You can do 9-to-5, and you might have two hobbies that might give you money. You know what I'm saying? So
do not let anyone assess value to you and pay you a value based. No, you are limitless.
Limitless.
We are limitless.
We are limitless, and I can speak that for myself as well.
You know,
even
we're limitless, and that's what I love about what we do. And you see how we go about what we do. We're not guaranteed anything. We walk in here
on a hope and a prayer.
And it's the hard work. And you see,
sometimes a miracle.
You guys are number 1 and 2. You guys are the lead. You guys set yourself apart from everyone else. Through work ethic, through work you do. It's not a prayer. We joke around and do our incense, but it's the work ethic that shows in your paychecks from everyone else.
But the miracle, the intentions, the incense sets us up.
Yeah, that's what I was
sets us up to work.
Yes, and that's what I was going to say.
So once you stop after the incense and the prayer, you won't see the effect.
Stacey, that's what
But you can't do the work without the faith, though. We can't do the work without the faith, though.
Yes.
We gotta have
I do it. My secret is this. I like to trick myself into believing. You see, they say trick myself into believing that it's real.
You're not tricking it. It's not a trick.
It's real.
It's happening.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I can't speak out of both sides of my mouth, so that's why I said I have to trick myself into believing what we're doing works. Because sometimes the spirit needs a little pick-me-up, a little motivation. Mm-hmm. But if I didn't do all the things I need to do before I got here, going shopping, getting the kids, sending them to school, doing this, doing that, none of that would even work.
Of course not.
Because it requires me to do my job.
The work.
Do your job.
It requires.
And then when you do your job, then you now say, okay, I'm doing my part. I'm done my part. I need the universe to answer.
There you go. I always say that.
Okay? Universe, I'm doing my part.
Yes. I'm doing the work.
Answer me.
Yes.
Universe.
Feed me back.
The magnitude of the universe. And how many times do the phone ring as I'm doing?
It's true.
How many times? But it's still a trick.
You think
Because you know what? Because there will be a day when I can't get to the store to get that oil or that incense. What are we not gonna be blessed?
It's still gonna be blessed. It's still gonna be blessed.
So that's why I say it's not the oil. It's a trip. It's like me watching football. It's a sport. It's what we do. And what I ask people to do is to have that level of thought with themselves instead of believing in fairy tales. Have these conversations within you, in your mind, in yourself. Challenge yourself. Push yourself. As opposed to praying 5 times south for something crazy to happen.
You know about to stop.
Stop. No, don't stop. Yeah, I know, but you gotta stop now.
Yes, stop.
Because you know what? People like me will always have dominion over you. And that's what we don't want.
But they feel that they're superior too. They feel like
No. What I'm saying is,
Why does anybody feel that they're superior and why not? Why don't they feel that they're equal? Why is there superior feeling? I don't. Okay, there may be some religions or individuals within a religion that feel like they are better than people, but that I think speaks a lot to do with the individual and not the religion. But for me personally, I try not to call anybody out on their religion, just because that is one of the most personal things you can do, because people are most passionate about their beliefs, their beliefs, right?
and we need to stop that. That's the whole point. Wars are fought. Society deteriorate. Ku Klux Klan is a religious organization. They hang black people
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody
based
has
on their
their
religious beliefs.
It all comes down to your belief system and whether or not you feel it passionately, or there are people. For me, it's very interesting. I think as I get older, I don't know if I get wiser or I become more complacent with certain actions, but I think it's wrong to tell any person that their religion is not correct or it's not right, because at the end of the day, none of us were here at whatever time.
Exactly, but that's the basic tenet of Christianity.
Yeah, but
Which was, there shall be no other God before me. There shall be no other religion you have other than me. I am the only way. I am the way. Everything else is not.
Yeah.
So you can't say that
I can
and
say
be a
that.
Christian only because
I can say
that
that.
is the tenet. That is
No,
the
but I can say
foundation
that
of the
because you
religion.
not
No, I hear you. I hear you.
telling
But I'm just saying, in a rational context, if something is built on a certain premise, you cannot take that premise away and still think you're going to have that same house. It collapses.
I can.
So that theory doesn't work.
You can do whatever you like.
Yeah, well,
I hear you.
It is true.
I hear you, Dave. I hear you. But that's what I said. We no longer live in an age where we have to accept baseless statements anymore. We can't do it anymore.
Why is the camera still looking at just me? Oh, is it back on you? Okay. All right. This has been great. I've enjoyed it. MJ, Erica, I think that we're going to have to, wrap you guys into some of the episodes, because
I still want to do the girls one on Wednesday.
I think,
and I know it's gonna be me, T.I., and Erica.
well, you're getting up before we've turned off the cinema.
Are you doing it?
Oh, you have something to say?
We got your podcast coming on.
Well, go ahead and do your plug.
Well, we don't have the name for
And
it
the
yet.
podcast will be bummy free, so you guys can run the show.
Awesome. So with that
I'll be
note,
with the cameras and stuff.
we can take the camera off of me now and we can end our live.
We're gonna talk about taboo topics though.
Oh, that's awesome. You'll be like my friend who has her taboo podcast.
Simba's podcast.
So anyway, thank you so much. This has been a special episode of Journeys from Lagos to Brooklyn. Everybody stay safe, stay warm, support your small business restaurants, especially during this holiday season.
Yes, please.
And wear a mask.
And if you come get takeout, please tip your server.
And wear a mask.
Yes.
And we out.
And don't ask for inside dining.
Yeah, don't ask. Don't do that.
God bless.
Fight you.